nobody can see me be weak because they need me to be strong. Because sometimes when things happen, we always think about the victims and the victim's family, but we never think about the person who did it and how their family, because now they have to deal with that too. They have to deal with, okay, well, your son was a murderer, or, you know, or your brother or your cousin, or, you know, you raised them, but you can raise your kid, but once they're grown, they're gonna do whatever they wanna do anyway. So, you know, I sat down with him, I talked, he invited me to his church, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, I ain't going to his church, that's crazy. I ain't the weekend, we cool, I feel good, give me a hug, have a nice day. But going to church, nah, I ain't doing that. And you know, as the week went on after that lunch, I had like a pull. Like, you know, God was telling me like, no, Jasmine, you need to go. You need to go. And I was just like, if you don't leave me alone, I am not going to church. But I couldn't sleep. I was waking up, and I'm a prayer, so when I have to pray, it usually comes in the middle of the night. And I'll toss and turn, and I won't get no peace till I get up and do it. So I was just like, okay, if I'm gonna go to church, I'm gonna go to church like clean. I'm going shop. So I laid my outfit out. I laid my son's outfit out. And we going to church. I know they're gonna be looking at us. We about to be nice. So I got up that Sunday. I got dressed. I was nervous. I drove to the church. I went. The service. Soon as I walked in, it was just. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel fear. I felt peace. And he was preaching that day about he had been shot himself and his experience with his brother. And, you know, he kind of broke down and he stepped out of the service. He came back, and I just felt healing really start to begin for me, because I went there every Sunday for a year straight, never missed a Sunday. And he allowed me to heal in his sanctuary. And when I tell you I couldn't drop a tear, there was somebody wiping my tears, bringing me water, making sure my son was straight. They gave me so much love. Like I was the highest tithing paying member in the church. You know how them as the favorites, that's how they treated me, you know? So it was amazing. I was just like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. So finally I asked him, I said, you think it would be okay for me to write him and just to, you know, let him know, like, get a why and, you know, maybe get some closure. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. So I got a P.O. box, and I gave him that, I mailed him that letter that I had wrote in therapy, and he emailed me back first. And he's like, you know, he's been locked up for 18 years. He's like, I don't really know how to type, you know, they only get so many minutes. And when I thought about it, like in 2002, we weren't really texting and typing like that. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I got the P.O. box. He wrote me back. We wrote back and forth about 4 times. He told me why he did what he did. He explained how he felt, what he was going through, his highs, his lows, and it gave me peace. I sent him like a eye care package where it got like stuff that he can't order normally, just because he was opening up wounds that he had to deal with by himself because he's in prison. I was able to go to therapy and deal with mine. And to me, the fact that he even would have that conversation with me was big, because he could have just told me, girl, leave me alone. Let me do my time. You go your way, I'm gonna go your way. And I think that day really, really set me free, because all kind of things just started to look up from there, because I finally let it go. And I was still working as a personal chef, and I've worked for maybe 20 Pacer players in and out, and I want to say like 12 to 15 on the football side. But I've had Pat McAfee, I've had George Hill, I've had some of the bigger ones. My last client was Kyle O'Quinn. He was one of my favorites. I've had C.J. Watson, C.J. Miles. Like, I could go on and on and on. And I know that all that favor came from my forgiveness. So once I was able to forgive something that was really hard for me, then doors started opening. And I didn't have a resume, a business card, email address. It was just word of mouth. Hey, I had Chef Jasmine. And I wasn't perfect. I made a lot of mistakes. I was late. Sometimes I would be like, okay, this is going on. And they dealt with me. They dealt with me. I have good relationships with a lot of them. Monte Ellis, I worked for his family, and me and his wife, Juanica's very close. Like, I love her to death. And it was just a good fit. And Mike came to me one day and was just like, Jazz, can I holler at you for a minute? And if you know me and Mike's relationship, we constantly mess with each other. I talk crazy, he laughs at me. We just been that way since we were 11 and 12. So I'm like, what do you want? He's like, just hear me out. I'm like, oh man. So I get there, I get to his house, and I'm like, this gotta be a setup.